Okay, Parker, you're going to have to get out of my chair so I can do a video. Parker, you need to get out of my chair so I can do a video. Come on. Thank you. This is Steve, Space 58, on a rainy Saturday afternoon. Decided to make another quick video about staying connected while on the road. For here in the park, we've used the T-Mobile Gateway. I know there's a Verizon equivalent to that, and that works great if you're in a single non-moving spot. However, hitting the road, those aren't going to work. Many have ended up using their cell phone hotspots or the jetpacks, something similar to that, or just using park Wi-Fi's to stay connected. That generally hasn't worked well for us. For us, we wanted reliable, fast internet for several reasons. Cell phones, jetpacks and all generally have fairly low data limits unless you get one of the expensive plans. I know some of them say unlimited. We've had that too, but they slow down to a unreasonably slow speed. Once you hit that cap, it makes it almost useless unless you're just checking email. We wanted reliable, fast internet for several reasons. One, for entertainment. We've got the cord as it deals with television. We stream Sling TV, we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime Video. And then for music entertainment, we have Pandora, as well as we stream in Sirius XM, so that's somewhat important to us. For banking, bills, investments, the fun stuff, we need reliable internet and also secure connection, which we'll talk a little bit about that to encrypt the data that we're sending back and forth. For traveling, we end up using the internet to do park reviews, as well as checking fuel prices, and then also for making reservations. Makes it a bit easier. And then for business, even though I'm supposed to be retired, I need reliable internet, not only for accessing different sites, but also we were at a campground in California and I had to do a Zoom call. And having good reliable internet has worked well for us. Let's talk about Starlink. Keep in mind this is what we're using in 2022 and 2023. Keep in mind that technology changes all the time, and there may be other updated technologies for you to use. We use Starlink. We actually signed up for their RV program for a couple of reasons. One is it can be paused and does not have to be registered at a home address where the regular residential Starlink would have to. Also, the Eugene area here, the pattern is full, so they speak. Starlink only allows so many users, basically not to overload the satellite system that they have with the different users and make it unreasonably slow. So with the RV program, we are deprioritized, but generally has not been any problem here. If we run into an area where it gets to be unreasonably slow, usually in those areas, such as in a city, our 5G system will take over and we generally keep good, fast, reliable internet that way. I don't know how it does it, but our modem actually balances this all out, or the router, and it balances it out, and we end up using both. I'm not sure which ones it's using at any given time, but at the end of the month I can check the data and how much we've used the cell and how much we've ended up using the Starlink. If you end up using Starlink, the antenna array actually needs a good view normally of the northern sky. Ours is mounted on top of the trailer in a bracket that's horizontal, aiming straight up, which works quite well. Many other users have used very similar setups for that. Ours also is removable, that we can remove the antenna array, the rectangular dish, and we can mount it on the ground on a bracket, stand that it came with, or we can put it on a pole on a stand to elevate it up if we need to do that. It's got a 150-foot cord, so we can get it a little bit away from the trailer and hopefully get a good clear view of the sky. Starlink connects to a common router modem that we have installed, and that brings together our Starlink stream coming in as well as our 5G. Let's talk a little bit about the modem router that we have with 5G. On the roof we have what they call a MoFi, M-O-F-I antenna. It stands for multiple out, multiple in. The antenna itself has 4 cell phone antennas, cell antennas on there, so it can talk on multiple channels at the same time, which speeds things up. The same antenna dome has two Wi-Fi antennas to be able to connect to park Wi-Fi's or any open Wi-Fi system, and also has a GPS antenna where we can actually track where our RV is at any given time, assuming we're not in it. The nice thing with using this type of a router and a modem is we just have one for our devices inside the RV, one connection. And we connect to the PEP wave, whether it be our TV, our stereo, our computers, our printers, they're all connected to the same. And it doesn't make any difference if we're using the Starlink, if we're using cell phone, if we're using a park Wi-Fi, if we're using a jetpack. We connect it all to that one PEP wave router modem, and it basically just grabs whatever and transmits whatever in-source it has out to Wi-Fi throughout our RV. If we're in an area where there's really, really weak cell phone coverage, we do have an antenna outside that connects to a cell phone booster. Again, it only talks on one channel at a time versus our PepLink MoFi antenna, which does 4. But the MoFi antenna does not boost. Our cell phone booster does. So we have an antenna on the outside mounted to the ladder. And then inside in one of our cabinets we have the amplifier or the booster. And then that runs down to a square antenna mounted on an interior wall. You'll notice on that interior wall you'll see the square round or square white antenna, and up close to it, it has limited range, up close to it we have our Simply Safe security system antenna right there to send signals out, as well as 2 cell phone chargers. And if we set our cell phone there in a weak area where we normally don't get good cell phone coverage and the booster picks it up, our cell phones will use that antenna, and then from there it actually sends a signal out that we can end up using a cordless phone. Panasonic happens to make a cordless phone which will work on a landline coming in, or also Bluetooth to 2 different cell phones. And from that we can end up using our cordless phone anywhere in the RV or outside. Plus we have cordless phones, the other handsets, both in the bedroom over by my desk, so it makes that a bit easier. So the cell phone can sit in a charger next to an antenna to get a pretty decent signal that way. We've used a very similar system while sailing. We were down in Mexico one area. Our boat had a good Wi-Fi signal, and we were able to take a cordless phone up on the dock. This was during Thanksgiving, and people could actually make calls home from that using the system that was on our boat. We use a Verizon jetpack as a backup, and if we need to have something on anywhere away from our RV, such as in a hotel room, again, Verizon won't let me put the SIM card in that into our router modem because it's not a consumer grade. Again, I have to go back to my business plan to be able to put that in there, and it's a little bit more expensive. I figured with the Starlink and the T-Mobile 5G as primary, if for some reason those aren't working, hey, we'll just use the jetpack, and as long as I have a decent cell signal coming in, I can actually connect that back to the router wirelessly and use the same address for all our devices. Speeds, if you take a look on the computer screen, just as we're seeing here in Meadowlark, either working off of Starlink or T-Mobile 5G, you'll see that we have pretty decent speeds coming in. The other that I'd recommend you're using is that you consider using a VPN, a virtual private network, that encrypts your data going out. There's several different companies that offer VPN services. We happen to use Norton right now. We've used a couple of the others in the past. But if you're using your internet for banking or anything of that nature, especially if you're on a common open Wi-Fi system, it's not secure. And we use a VPN, which essentially creates its own tunnel to its own network, and all of our data is encrypted going out, which gives us that other element of security. But anyway, that's what we're using right now as we get ready to hit the road. Again, the redundancy is important to us, that we can keep connected via the internet. Again, for entertainment, whether it be our TV or stereo system, whether it be for banking, whether it be for RV reservations, or whether it be for business. The other advantage we have is we actually use Zoom. We're able to do Zoom calls reliably with our kids, other relatives, and friends. So something that, again, has worked well for us. Hey, if you're interested in looking at any of this or talking more about it, come on down. We're at Space 58. Be more than glad to show you what's worked for us. Hey, have a great rest of the week.